Hello and good day. This tutorial is about Blender workspaces, and we'll learn about different workspaces and default workspaces in Blender. So if you open up your Blender first time, this is what it will show. So you don't have to do anything here. You just click anywhere on the screen, and then the first thing you see on your screen is called your default workspace. So you can see like it's a 2D plane and 3D plane, and here is your pointer, and then this small object is your camera. So you can define your camera angle according to this placement. The in the middle is your 3D object. So far is the default 3D object, which is the cube. And then if we go on the left hand side, this is our toolbox. So you can see all the tools for this default workspace, and we call this space a viewport. So everything you see here is included in this viewport. And then on the top left-hand side, this side is our main menu. So this is where you can save your files, you can open new files and create new files, and also export your files and import your files. Other than that, you also have your editing options. So you can edit anything, your user preferences and everything. Then your rendering option, your basic window option, and also help option. Then if we go to a little bit in the middle, this is mainly your extra workspaces that Blender has added in. We'll go into the description of each of these later in the tutorial. So if we go here, this part in the right hand side is your property box. So down below here is your timeline box. So this is your outliner, and then you come to this property box in your workspace. So from here you can choose all the different options like mirroring, adding new texture, and all these different options. And then that will be for your default working space, which is also known as the viewport. Then moving on, in the top right corner, in the middle corner, if you see like all these different options is all different workspaces. So you can see there's quite a bit. So if we go to the modeling, so this one is this workspace is mainly to modify the geometry of all the modeling tools. So you can see on the left hand side where our toolbox was, it has expanded a lot, and you can see all the different modeling options. So you can use this to create different 3D models and also different effects on your 3D modeling. You can see like shrink, you have shear, and then also rip region and extrude region. So according to your preference and also what you are trying to create, you can use these tools to create variation here. And then same again, they have the viewport, and then the outliners and also properties. So you can also create different meshes of the 3D objects. So currently this is our default, but you can create like mesh property, then create like different shading options using this small icons here. And then moving on to the next one, which is sculpting. So sculpting is mainly for you to create a clay-like texture using this blender tool. So it's mostly like creating a sculpture how we do in real life world, and this is have using the meshing effect. And then on the left hand side, when we had the toolbox previously, we have all these different sculpting tools. So you can see we have the draw sharp, clay and clay strips, then inflate. So depending on what you want to achieve in your sculpting, you can choose different sculpting tools here. And then again, we have our viewport here, which looks a little bit different. It's not on a plane, um, but it's on the 3D surface. And we also have the sculpting material, the 3D objects properties. So you can see the radius here. You can increase and decrease the strength of your sculpting, and also you have different brush option, different texture option, and everything that sort. And if you go here, it has a different kind of property box. So you can see like what are the things you can choose from here. You can also increase the radius and strength of your effects and your brushes. So that will be for the sculpting option for your workspace. Then you go to UV editing. So you can see here they have side-by-side profile, and this one is for mapping the texture of your image according to the coordinates of the 3D surface. So again, you can see they have added in a different new window. And this one is just a opening of your cubic box here. So they just put it up in a 2D space. So it's like easier for you to work on it. And then again, you have the same toolbox as previously for your second workspace, which was the modeling. And then for UV, you have different like grab and go and pinch tools here. And the other things are quite same for this whole entire working space. And then we go to texture painting. So you can see this box is now pink. So for this, you can use your different painting tools. You can see here like they have soften, smear, clone. So according to your own needs, you can use different textures and different painting methods to paint your object, your 3D object. And also you have the option to choose your own color. So whichever color you want, you can choose from this rainbow box. And then you have your other coloring properties like your brush setting, then your color palette, advanced texture for your colors and all of it. And the other things are will remain the same. The viewport just added a new toolbox here, and also for your UV editing here. And then going to the shading, so you can see it has kind of like a background here now, and you can change the background according to your own scenario. And you can see the objects here as example. So this is to render any kind of image you want to put in a real world. So you can see this small spheres at the below, and then you can see what it looks like from different angle, and how the rendering will look like, how the sculpting will look like if you want to put an image on it, or you want to do any kind of texture rendering on the cubic. And you have your all your files here, so you can choose your own image that you want to render on it. And you have your toolbox here, which will help us to get uh, our effect right on the cubic according to whatever we wish to achieve. And the other things like the properties is the same, just some of the like coloring, strength, all these things changed. And then moving on to the animation. So again, this is for you to create your own object, and we have the timeline box here very highlighted, and this will be creating your 3D animation or your VFX animation, whichever you want to do. And you just create your 3D object in this viewport, and then it will render here, and then you can create different motions for your animation. And then for rendering is just a mesh box. And then this one also you can put your desired render image on top of it. And for it's for like mainly viewing and also detailed analysis of your rendering. So if you want to do any kind of rendering in your this part, this shading part, you can further analyze it here in this workspace if you want to. And then moving on to few last things, which is composting. So this one, it looks kind of like the animation workspace we had. This is for combining and processing your images and rendering informations. So you can combine them together, your any kind of rendering image or any kind of sources you have. And then also you have the timeline box here to create any animation or moving objects. And then going to the scripting part. So this is mainly for your coding bit. And then also this one has your Python API. So this follows the Python API, and then you can do your own coding according to whatever you wish to achieve for your coding script. And then the whole viewport here is mainly for you to type in your coding and create new scripts. And your object is right here. So you can create different 3D models using your maybe your coding for Python, where you can create visual effects and also your 3D models. So I think that's it for this workspace tutorial. I hope you learned something from it. Thank you.